Welcome to the IMPLAN Quick Start Guide 5, Results. In this video, we will go through considerations for navigating and interpreting IMPLAN project results using the restaurant example we set up in Quick Start Guides 2 through 4. To see the results of a project you have already run, first head over to the Projects page from the IMPLAN dashboard. From the Projects page, select the results icon of the project you want to see results for. Remember, if this icon is gray instead of teal, that would mean we first need to set up the impacts and run the project. If we navigate to the impact screen of our Charlotte restaurant example by selecting the impacts icon of the project, we can see that we've already set up and run this project. From here, we can view the results by selecting View Results at the bottom right-hand corner or by selecting the results icon from the vertical navigation. After navigating to the results, users will first find themselves on the Summary Impacts Results Overview dashboard, which has various high-level results from our analysis. In the results of our project, we will see the effects to the Charlotte combined region, which is comprised of Mecklenburg, Cabarrus, and Union counties due to the restaurant's operations in 2022. By default, our results are filtered in current year dollars unless otherwise specified in our user preferences. However, this can be changed by updating the filter for dollar year. We can also further segment our results by filtering on region, impact, group name, event name, or event tag before updating the displayed results. For an apples-to-apples comparison from our impacts to our results, I will set the dollar year filter to 2022 to match the dollar year of our inputs and refresh the page. Economic Indicators by Impact table provides results for a few important economic indicators. Employment is an industry-specific mix of full-time, part-time, and seasonal employment. This is an annual average that accounts for seasonality and follows the same definition used by the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Note that IMPLAN employment is not comparable to full-time equivalents. There are 125 employees and $10 million in output found in our direct effect, because the restaurant is the directly impacted industry in our project, and we specify these values in our industry output event. Direct effects are defined as the initial effects of a local industry or industries due to the activity or policy being analyzed. IMPLAN estimated the remaining values, labor income, and value added, based off of our inputs to the full-service restaurant industry in our 3-county combined region in 2021. The 125 restaurant employees are estimated to earn about $4.3 million in labor income in 2022 dollars. Labor income includes all forms of employment income, employee compensation earned by wage and salary workers, and proprietor income earned by proprietors. Employee compensation is the total cost of employment to the employer. This is a fully loaded payroll value that includes all benefits. Proprietor income is the current production income of sole proprietorships, partnerships, and tax-exempt cooperatives. Value added combines labor income with taxes on production and imports net of subsidies, or TOPI, and other property income, also known as OPI. For industries other than government enterprise, TOPI is the value of taxes paid to the government less the subsidies received from the government. This will include taxes such as sales and excise taxes, custom duties, and motor vehicle licenses, among other types of taxes. OPI is the gross operations surplus less proprietor income. OPI includes corporate profits, consumption of fixed capital, and net business current transfer payments. Remember that value added is also a measure of the contribution to gross domestic product. The direct value added shows us that the restaurant contributed about $6.1 million to GDP. Output is the total value of industry production and producer prices and includes net inventory changes. Output combines value added with intermediate inputs, meaning that the difference between the direct output of $10 million and the direct value added of about $6.1 million is the estimated direct intermediate input spending of the restaurant on operational inputs such as ingredients and utilities. Intermediate inputs are purchases of non-durable goods and services that are used to produce other goods and services rather than for final consumption. Indirect effects stem from business-to-business purchases in the supply chain taking place in the region. These effects are supported by the ripple effect of the intermediate input purchases by the directly and indirectly impacted industries. Induced effects stem from household spending of income in the region after the removal of taxes, savings, and workers who do not live in the region, also known as commuters. These effects are supported by the local spending of wages earned in the direct and indirect effects in the region, as well as spending from the workers in the induced effects. Each of the affected industries across the direct, indirect, and induced impacts will have industry-specific distributions of spending across the different types of economic indicators. The effects to indirect and induced industries are summed by row. To see effects by industry and type of effect, click on the Output, Employment, or Value-Added tabs. The total row shows a sum of the direct, indirect, and induced impacts by type of indicator. The restaurant has a total employment impact in the Charlotte area of about 162 jobs and supports just over $7 million of labor income. The restaurant also supports about $10.7 million in total value added and about $17.8 million of total output. Because labor income is a component of value added, and value added is a component of output, we should never sum these values horizontally. The tax results table shows the direct, indirect, induced, and total impacts by level of government: sub-county general, sub-county special districts, county, state, federal, and the total across all of these government levels. The restaurant supports about $1.6 million in local, state, and federal fiscal revenue. $227,000 of this goes to the state of North Carolina. We can go to the Tax tab to view the tax results in more detail. Direct effect leakages, industries by estimated growth percentage, and the top 15 industries by estimated growth percentage can also be found on the Summary Impacts Results Overview page. In general, leakages are dollars associated with the modeled event that do not continue to cycle throughout the economy, producing additional effects. Only certain event types will have direct effect leakages. These direct leakages can come from institutional commodity sales, margins, or imports to the region. Because our modeled event type and industry does not have any direct effect leakages, we will not see any results in this table. Read more about when we may see direct effect leakages in our support article, Direct Effect Leakages, which will be linked in the description. The industries by estimated growth percentage shows which industries grew the most as a result of our impact. This is accompanied by a top 15 industries by estimated growth percentage graph that displays these growth percentages visually. We know that the direct effects are the initial production for the directly impacted industry, Industry 509 full-service restaurants. However, the indirect and induced effects are generated by iterations of secondary demands supported by our direct effects, but these are going to be spread out by various industries. The Output, Employment, and Value Added tabs of our results allow us to see the economic indicators by impact to each industry. The operations of the restaurant in 2022 throughout the Charlotte area include 125 direct jobs, as well as about 37 additional jobs in the indirect and induced effects. To see which industries are impacted with these additional jobs, navigate to the Employment dashboard. The graph at the top of the screen shows us the top 15 industries impacted by employment, with color-coded columns for direct, indirect, and induced employment. Hovering over a column will display the values. As expected, there are 125 direct employees in the full-service restaurant industry and no other direct employees. We can see this in the Industries by Impact table. Clicking on the impact employment in any of these four columns will sort the table by descending order, while clicking an additional time will sort the results in ascending order, which is useful whenever we're analyzing negative impacts. Sorting the Industries by Impact table by total impact employment I can see that other real estate is the second most impacted industry by employment. Employment in this industry is predominantly supported by the indirect effects, but it is also affected with induced jobs. We can apply filters for indirect and induced impacts in our filter bar to see only the indirect and induced employment results in the top 15 industries graph. Now, let's remove our impact filters and head back to the summary overview dashboard. The Download tab allows users to download project results by direct, indirect, and induced effects for each group, event, and region directly to a CSV file. This is especially helpful when examining complex projects. The options are to download the summary economic indicators by impact type, detailed economic indicators by industry, summary taxes by impact type, and detailed taxes by level of government. The summary and detailed results will download with the applied dollar year filter. At this time, the download feature will not apply any other filter outside of the dollar year. Another option we have is to download all of the results of a results dashboard. Click the Dashboard Action button in the top right corner and choose to download. This will give users the ability to download this page as a PDF or CSV file for use outside of IMPLAN. Users can also download individual result tables in multiple formats by clicking on the Tile Actions icon and then clicking Download Data. First, choose your file format and select any advanced data options that you would like applied to your downloaded file. For more information about the results of IMPLAN projects, refer to the Results subsection of the Getting Started section on our support site. Thanks for watching IMPLAN Quick Start Guide 5, Results.